Wow. Hi. Um, my name is Breeaunna Lynn, and I'm 18 years old. My story starts when I was 7. That's when I first came into foster care. 7 months ago, I was at one of the lowest points in my life. After aging out of the system, I was living with my high school best friend and her family in Manteca. To make a long story short, I had a major fallout with her and her family and was kicked out of their house with no place to go. I was so devastated. Thinking back, I wouldn't have thought in my wildest dreams that I'd be standing here in front of all of you tonight in this gorgeous dress. I'm so grateful for Unity Care and all the people who helped me get back on my feet and truly believed in me. When I was 7, like I said, is when I first came into foster care. I was living in Oregon with my mother and her boyfriend, who beat us both regularly. My school teacher noticed that I came to school disoriented and had a lot of trouble paying attention. When social workers got involved, they collected enough evidence to take me away. My mother refused to leave her abusive boyfriend. During this whole process, I didn't quite know how to feel. I wasn't very emotional. Everything was changing so fast, and I was just trying to get a grasp of what was happening. Soon after, I learned my mother was pregnant with my younger sister. I witnessed her birth, and when I heard her cry, I cried. I hope that with all my heart one day, she would look up to me. Though the court gave my mother many chances to repair our relationship and make our home life better, my sister and I ended up back in foster care. It became very clear that I needed a much more drastic change because my mother started to blame me for everything that happened, and she expressed her anger by beating me. As I grew up in the system, I faced numerous challenges. I always felt that I didn't quite fit in at school, and was usually the outcast amongst my peers. I moved around often, house to house, school to school, and didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I was never in one spot long enough to get comfortable with people or my schooling, which affected me academically and emotionally. Every time I moved, it was very hard for me because I had to start from scratch all over again. New house with new rules, new people, new counselors, and new therapists. So with the court's help, they found my father, whom I had never met before. At age 11, they helped me move to California to live with him. After a few years of living with my father and my great-grandparents, I finally felt stable. I had a best friend. My schoolwork was on track. I was getting much more confident. Most importantly, I felt comfortable at home. By the time I was in 7th grade, I realized that I was gay. I've always been attracted to girls. I felt that this was very important for me to acknowledge. It took a little courage, but I decided to share this with my father. To my surprise, he told me that he still loved me regardless of who I liked. Thank you. Coming out of the closet lifted such a huge weight off my heart. And at this point, I was so happy, felt that nothing could bring me down. Those happy days didn't last too long. My father had a huge fallout with my great-grandmother, and we were forced to move out of our house in Fremont. We moved to a small apartment complex in Manteca by ourselves. I started a new school. Soon after that, my father and I started having frictions at home, and my grades started slipping again. What happened between my father and I is much too painful for me to talk about in public. All I can tell you is that now my father refuses to see or speak to me as well as his entire family, including my great-grandmother, whom I adored. I know in my heart that I did the right thing for my own safety. So once again, I was put back into the system at age 15. The event with my father was so traumatic that I continued to struggle at school. But I was determined and was focused on graduating. Being gay in the foster system came with many challenges. One of my foster parents, who was a devoted Christian, was extremely against me being gay. She thought I had a mental condition that could be fixed with her making me go to church. I was forbidden to have a relationship with my girlfriend. Her hateful actions made me become very depressed, and I started to harm myself. I couldn't wait until the day I turned 18 so I can become legally independent and free to love whomever I wanted. That being said, I had a very rude awakening on my 18th birthday. I was out celebrating with my girlfriend and called my foster mother to let her know I would be coming home before curfew. She told me I was no longer allowed to come home that night because I had turned 18. I learned I had to move out of her house that very night. And just like that, I became homeless. Thankfully, my best friend's mother was generous enough to take me in, so I had a place to stay. We agreed on rent, and this felt like a promising move. I thought when I turned 18, I'd be ready to move out of the system and live life on my own. But I wasn't ready at all. That became apparent as I struggled with life over the next several months. I applied for many part-time jobs in Manteca, but was quickly hit with the reality that no one wants to hire an 18-year-old with absolutely no work experience at all. I was getting very depressed again, lost all motivation, and even leaving my room became a struggle. This is when my relationship with my best friend went sour. She lied and accused me of stealing from her family, and I was deeply hurt by this accusation. I was completely helpless. They ended up kicking me out anyways, and once again I became homeless. I felt that I'd hit rock bottom, but the bottom was sinking even further. The day I was kicked out, I called my mentor, Nana, whom I met when I first moved to California at age 11. Her and her husband are here tonight at table 1. At the time, she was assigned as my mentor through a nonprofit volunteering organization. Since I moved away to Manteca, we didn't get to talk or see each other much. But when I called her and explained my situation, the very next day she came and picked me up and brought me to her house here in San Jose. Nana connected with a friend who told her about transitional housing, and we started looking into this. That's how I found Unity Care. My social worker helped connect me to staff, and within 2 weeks, I moved into Unity Care's transitional home for teen girls. I am so proud to share with you that since I moved to San Jose 7 months ago, I have made many accomplishments. I got my driving permit, passed my driver's license test. I secured, thank you. I secured 2 part-time jobs and opened my own bank account with a credit card. I've been saving up all my money, and I bought a used car. Thank you. I have a very safe place to live, and I've made many friends. I'm now planning for college in the fall. Unity Care has been a huge help, and without their support, these accomplishments may not have been possible. I've gained self-confidence, and I'm happy in knowing that there are people who care and love about me. I may have gone through a lot in my 18 years of life, but I consider myself very lucky. My mentors always say that everything happens for a reason, and it's up to me to either become a victim or to, or to see those events as a challenge for me to become better and stronger as an individual. I am who I am because of everything that has happened to me, and I'm so appreciative of the people who have believed in me, even when I had doubts about myself. Thanks to Unity Care, I have a place to live and a very strong support system that allows me to work part-time while I prepare to go to college this fall. My dream, ever since the day my little sister was born, is to become a delivery nurse. I think that helping to bring a new life into this world is a great way to give back to the society that gave me a second chance many times over. I'm prepared to work hard in school to achieve this goal, and looking forward to becoming a college student. Every life is precious, and every person deserves a chance to make something of his or her life. People often say it takes a village to raise a child, and I am in fact a product of that village. I don't take things for granted and hope that one day I'll be in a position to help others that may need a little extra help to reach his or her potential. Thank you for caring, thank you for giving, and thank you all so much for listening to my story.
Great job. Great job.
And I had something else to say tonight. My mentors, Nana and Gary, who are here with me tonight. I'm sorry. They have helped me so much. And every time I talk with anybody about them, I always say how proud I am to have them in my life. And one thing I always say to everyone I introduce them to is everyone deserves a Nana and a Gary in their life. I'm so grateful for you guys, and you're two fantastic parental figures, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you all.